Hello, podcast listeners. This is your host with the most, JJ from JJ Meets World. That's right. My name's above the door. In this episode, we're going to deal with icebreaker questions, and you're going to get to know Tucker and I better because in this episode, Tucker and I get to know each other better. Sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy the tale of the yellow wallet. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is! He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirled as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called J.J. Meets World.
Hey, Tucker, do you know how much a polar bear weighs?
I'm going to guess no more than 2 Kodiaks, no less than 5 black bears.
It weighs enough to break the ice. JJ Gordon, damn glad to meet you.
I'm not laughing at the punchline. I'm laughing at the fact that that's how you chose to open this episode.
Well, so coincidentally, I have chosen in this episode to do a series of icebreaker questions and routines that we are going to go through and decide whether or not we really know each other and we'd be good partners in some kind of like a meeting setting. Okay.
Wait a minute. So this is like a role play where I need to pretend like I don't know you?
No, I'm just going to see if I find some new stuff about you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We're kind of on a date then, huh?
Yeah. So this comes from museumhack.com. Now there are, oh my God. Okay. There are a total of 201 questions. And
Jesus.
So we're not going to get through all 201, but I just want you to yell out a random number and we'll discuss.
17.
17. Okay. I was at the bottom. So now I got to go to the top. 17. What is your caffeinated beverage of choice? Coffee, cola, tea? Now we know I'm Diet Coke all the way. I'm a Diet Coke man. What about you? You're a coffee guy, right?
Yeah, black coffee all the way. Every morning I murder at least a full pot of black coffee. And I'm kind of brand loyal right now to Cameron's brand. Specifically the donut shop flavor. It's a nice light roast. It's not too acidic. And it doesn't hurt, and my tummy works after taking down that whole pot.
Diet Coke in this hierarchy, canned, bottle, well, no, fountain.
Fountain from McDonald's for you.
I mean, fountain, can, bottle, and then any other delivery device below there. So,
okay, but when we're talking bottle, though, are we talking like the was it a 12 ounce or 16 ounce, or are we talking the
like a 2 liter?
2 liter? Yeah.
Well, let's not be ridiculous. I'm not sitting down and drinking from a 2 liter.
I'm going to stop for a second. We're not going to stop recording, but I have to yell at my cat because he's eating a cardboard box.
Okay.
Hold on. Pete, knock it up. I'm leaving that in the episode. I just figured I had to yell at him because I heard a crunching sound and I see he's eating a box, and he just ate actual cat food like 10 minutes ago.
What was in the box?
It's got a bunch of VHS tapes that Mr. Toby Jones gave me. He wants me to digitize.
What? Like, what's in it? Like, what type of tapes?
So we've been shooting this movie for Toby, and this weekend we were filming at his dad's construction company office, John T. Jones Construction.
I've filmed a movie there.
Toby found all these old like training videos and safety videos from the early 90s on VHS. And we are both archivists when it comes to this sort of thing. So he's handed me a full box. I'm going to get these digitized sometime this week.
You know,
as long as my cat doesn't fucking eat them.
There's a real chance that some of our friends who are like into theater appeared in some of those tapes.
Ooh, I hope so. That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that.
You may see like a very young Scott Horvick in some of those tapes.
God, that would be money. That would be the absolute pinnacle.
Okay, give me another number. 1 through 201, but not 17 again.
Okay, 200.
200.
Make you all the way back down to the bottom.
Okay. Would you rather eat a candy cane that tastes like turkey or a turkey that tastes like candy cane?
Man. Well, when is it a full turkey I got to eat, or is it like a slice of turkey? Because there's definitely a mass size difference, right?
Yep. I'm going to say you are you're having as much of the turkey as you can palate, but it tastes like a candy cane with every bite. So for example, if you're like me and you like a dollop of turkey with a little gravy, maybe a little mashed potato, corn bake if it's available, it's that, but you're now mixing it with the peppermint flavor of a candy cane.
Yeah, you see, the thing is I don't want to be ruined for turkey, but I'm down with being ruined for candy canes, even though I like candy canes, but they're never a part of my meal choice. So I think I go with a candy cane that's flavored like a turkey, because then I'll be like, ugh, I'll never want to eat candy canes again, but I'll be able to look at a turkey and still eat that like a regular turkey.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Do you think that, is that what you would do as well, no matter what, because of that reason?
No, not at all. We live in a world where there are a lot of different, like Jones Soda. You remember Jones Soda when that was big?
Oh, totally. And also my cat just knocked over a picture frame. So now you're going to wait for one more second.
Okay, yeah.
Being a dickhead. You just keep talking. I'll be right back.
So back in the day, Jones Soda came out. And I remember one of the things that you could get was Jones Soda. And it was their like Thanksgiving meal set. And there was a soda that tasted like turkey and a soda that tasted like mashed potatoes and gravy. And so I don't think it's that odd to have like a candy cane that's flavored like turkey. I mean, Lord knows we figured out how to make, things that aren't beef taste like beef.
Yeah, but I've never really understood why people get into like the many flavored jelly beans that you don't know what it's going to taste like. They have a lot of fun with, this tastes wrong. Isn't that great? And I don't understand that. I mean, is that like the equivalent of like a jump scare? Like not knowing what you're about to eat?
It's sort of like, oh, did you do that? Oh, gross. And people like that. Like it's something that cures the mundane.
See, but that's the thing is, why cure the mundane when you can just find delicious food that you actually want to eat versus, this is fun. It tastes like boogers.
Okay, but you live in a world, though, where, your everyday can be exciting, like whether it's theater or creating a podcast. There's a lot that's going on in your life. Some people just don't have that, Tucker. Some people are just like, well, here we go.
Yeah, but at the same time, you lead one of the most exciting lives of anyone that I know, and you're still into this shit.
Yeah, I do. I am 100% into that stuff.
Both you and Jake Hartshee are two people I know who, like, no matter what you do, I know you're going on some kind of adventure when you do it. Like, when you are like, hey, I'm going to go to the gas station, I know something weird's going to fucking happen to you at the gas station.
It always does. It always does. I like the fact that weird stuff finds me. I appreciate that. So to me, I am going to have a candy cane that tastes like turkey.
Gotcha. JJ,
and I'm going to share it with other people. I'm going to start at the bottom. Also, side note, we should also be talking about this. It is very dangerous. Candy canes are like a dangerous candy.
Oh, you could sharpen them into a shiv.
Yeah. And it just naturally happens when you're working on the bottom part of a candy cane. It becomes so when I see kids running with that, oh my gosh, they could be in real trouble real fast.
Now, those those candy cane shaped tubes that they fill with M&Ms?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If they filled one with popcorn chicken, would you get it?
Yeah. Why not? I'll tell you why, because you know how the top of that, or the shaft of the tube is usually clear, but the top is usually like a red. Fill the top of that tube with ranch.
But okay, so if it's a plastic tube and these are hot, freshly cooked, it's going to melt it.
No. Do you know how hot those things have to be to melt the plastic tubing?
Maybe not melt it, but
that is food safe plastic tubing, regardless of whether it's M&Ms going in there or chicken nuggets. Those chicken nuggets would have to be on fire. Now, I'm not reheating the nuggets inside of the tube in the microwave. That is crazy talk.
Yeah, okay.
Pick a new number.
What day is your birthday on again?
It's on the 10th.
It's on the 10th?
Yeah.
10.
How do you stay productive and motivated working virtually?
How do I? Oh,
Yeah, that's a good question for you, Tucker, because you've had some virtual work experience.
yeah. I mean, about 2 weeks before everything shut down last year for the pandemic in March, at H2M, we had actually gone to an essentially virtual working environment where we all had the option to work from home or not if we needed to. Because I don't really have like a normal schedule, the motivation for me is less about is it virtual or in person versus can I get interested in this thing that I'm doing? I think one of the downsides of virtual work, if you're at home, is all the distractions that come at home. So I think if I'm going to have to really truly stay motivated but do virtual work, I'm probably going to try to find an environment to do the virtual work in that doesn't distract me. The motivation will be less of a problem as much as it will be fighting off the distractions. But there's other kinds of virtual, not all work is the same, right? Like one virtual job might be totally different from another one. So if I was doing, say, video editing, which is sort of the primary thing that I do, it's really just trying to figure out what can be fun or interesting about the project itself.
Interesting. For me, to me, I can thrive wherever I am. So my job takes me to non-traditional places to broadcast. And so it would, to me, I treat it the same way as if I'm like on the road, right? Like if I was working from a hotel room. And I also consider my job to be a 24/7 position. So even when I'm not working, I'm still working, right? Like I'm still representing the business. And so that happens. So like when I wake up in the morning, I read the newspaper right off the bat. So there you go. Boom. I'm already working. So I feel like to me, when we switched to broadcasting from my basement, not much changed other than the fact that I could let my dogs out, and I should say this too. I felt so much, I think I got more work done and I felt so much more comfortable working in my home than I do going to an office where it's not my space. I'm only, I'm only occupying that desk until they decide they don't want me anymore. Right.
Right. No, that's a really good point. I think if I had a place, and actually the place I'll be moving into next month will help me do this, but if I had a room that I could dedicate to work, like an office room that I could shut the cats out from, but have it in my home, that would be a big difference. Whereas like here in my current place, it's a 1-bedroom apartment. Yeah. So I had to convert my living room to both a living room and an office space. And that became really tough, especially with 2 cats who are big babies and constantly want attention all the time. JJ, these questions, are these ones you're supposed to use like on a date?
I didn't say anything about these being on a date.
I'm just wondering because
they are simple team building questions and activities.
These are like corporate questions.
Yes.
Oh, God damn it. Okay.
This is not something where like you sit down at a table with someone that you want to smooch. These are like, hi, I'm Dale. I am from HR. Well, and the sandwiches will be brought out in just a little bit, but let's get to know each other first.
I mean, I think even if this was happening at my job, I'd be like, fuck this job. I'm quitting.
See, okay. Now, that is coming from someone that I feel like doesn't really understand the purpose of this, okay? So let me tell you something. I've been in a bunch of these before, and every now and then you find an amazing nugget about one of your coworkers, and you go, wait, what? I found out that I had a coworker who was a Muppet fanatic just like me, and that never would have come up. Never in a million billion years.
In improv, would you call these springboards?
Yeah, just to get your mind. It's kind of to facilitate the conversation starting. That's why like I started with my polar bear joke, right? These are icebreakers. So give me another number. Let's break some ice.
Let me see here. I'm going to go with 131.
131, which is under the category of if you could icebreaker
categories. Huh?
Yeah. If you could choose any person from history to be your imaginary friend, who would it be and why?
From history.
Yeah.
Meaning that they're dead. That just meaning that they're a dead person.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that they're implying that this person has shuffled the mortal coil.
And they get to be my best friend?
They're your imaginary friend.
Wait. They're not real?
Right. So, for example, think of it
Meaning
like your
I
conscience.
see them, but no one else sees them.
Correct.
Oh,
and
man.
they talk to you and they provide maybe guidance or suggestions for what you should be doing with your day. So, like Jiminy Cricket is a bad example because he is actually a real cricket who occupies the world for Pinocchio. But I don't know if you've ever seen the show Big Mouth on Netflix, which is just wonderful, horribly inappropriate for anybody who's listening to this. But one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. But kids are assigned hormone monsters when you turn like 12 years old. And the hormone monster is essentially your inner monologue telling you to do the things that turn you into the adult you're destined to be.
Okay.
So someone from history, I already know who mine's going to be.
Well, let's hear yours.
Okay, it's going to be John Candy.
Why? Oh, well, I guess that makes sense.
John Candy. Because I feel like I strive to WWJCD. What would John Candy do? And just recently, I read an amazing article where people are interviewed about John Candy all the time. And people were being asked, and Eugene Levy was talking about him. And he said, yeah, I probably made the most movies co-starring with John. And it's true. I think he probably did. And so he talked about how generous of a guy he was, and he knew everybody's names on set. And Marty Short has a great anecdote that he's been pulling out a lot lately because he's been on a lot of talk shows talking about how he was out to dinner with John Candy and some other cast members from Second City, and Candy paid. And on the way home, Martin Short was telling his wife Nancy, he's like, listen, you and I are really struggling to get by. Candy gets paid the same thing. Where the hell is he getting this money?
Oh,
and so to me, John Candy would be the guy because I think that he'd give me some good, solid advice.
Well, I'm going to go with Stan Lee.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Stan Lee, I was really interested in as a kid because I knew that he was, the editor / publisher / guy who was coming up with all these superheroes that I really dug. In fact, I even wrote a whole report on him in the 6th grade. And I would love to be able to pick his brain after every Marvel movie that I see. I think that's all I would want would be, I don't necessarily want to turn to him for advice. I just want to be like, hey, did you like what they did with Spider-Man in that one? I think he would be a really fun person to talk to. And I think we all kind of hope that you're going to get the Stan Lee that comes in Mallrats, you know, that's the one that who's sort of like a Chuck Lee uncle who's really happy to see you and will answer any question about your superheroes that you want. And since he is no longer with us, he is now a historical figure. And so I'm going to go with Stan Lee.
Okay. Give me another number.
We're going to go with 16. I'm just using the timer on the Zencaster recording right now. 16
under virtual icebreaker questions. What's your favorite flower or plant? Now, this is kind of a difficult question because there are so many plants that provide fruits and vegetables. Right. So, my first thought is rhubarb, but there are others. And I think I do know what my favorite flower is. And I'll go first if you don't mind.
Please do.
I love the marigold. The marigold, a very simple flower, a very hardy flower. It's very hard to mess up marigolds. And I'll tell you a couple of things. One of the only things that marigolds ask of you as the person who is gardening them is to deadhead them, which means after the blossom of the marigold has done its due diligence and spreading pollen and whatever else, providing beauty to the world, they want you to just rip the head off of the plant. And then my mom would just toss them over the side into the lawn, and they'd get chewed up in the next lawn mowing cycle. And so there's this cathartic feel, and you're making room for other blossoms to give during the growing cycle. My mom planted marigolds religiously. They were a big part of my mom's planting. And this year I found out a very unique use for marigolds. We've always had trouble in my backyard when we plant potatoes with getting potato bugs. Are you familiar with potato bugs, Tucker?
I am very familiar with potato bugs. I am Scots Irish.
There you go. Okay. So Normally, the only thing you can do, like there has yet to be a great spray or chemical to get rid of potato bugs. So most of the time, you just sit there and you like pluck them off the leaves of your in your garden.
That's
And
super
it
annoying.
takes hours, right? And then they just come back. They just come back. Well, marigolds, which have a very distinct smell, some people like it, some don't. It's very similar to like cilantro. Some do, some don't. But some people compare it to like ammonia or like cat pee. Now,
Ooh,
I
okay.
don't get that when I smell a marigold, but I surrounded our potato plants with marigolds because I read that the scent of marigolds drives away insects. And guess what? I didn't see a single friggin' one of this year.
Wow.
Potato bugs.
So marigolds are like the guardians, the sentinels of your garden.
That's exactly what they are. They are the British Guard standing outside my Buckingham Potato Palace. And so
I to make a sign that says Buckingham Potato Palace in your garden.
Also, do you know that like an Irish roasted potato is different than what I think of as a roasted potato? Are you familiar with this?
That I'm actually not familiar with. What's an Irish roasted potato?
Or so like in England, when they have like a roasted potato, what they do is they peel the outside of the potato and then they will sometimes put it in flour or like dredge the outside of the potato and then roast it. And they'll parboil it first. So it's very, very soft and it's got kind of like a crust on the outside of it. And it sounds delicious. And I'm going to make it for my Christmas dinner this year because I'm going English themed on my Christmas dinner.
Have you ever had mashed potatoes that have been fried in goose fat?
No, that sounds amazing though.
Oh my God, dude. I've never had potatoes that tasted that good. And I've only had that dish once in my life and I need to have it again at some point. I'm going to go with basil.
What?
I love pesto.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go with basil.
Have you ever grown your own?
I've never grown my own. The thing is I cannot grow plants because I have these two asshole cats.
Yeah.
And they just chew on that. Like it's because of these asshole cats that I have to keep all of my hoodies like away from them because especially Pete, he eats the drawstrings on them.
Oh my.
And all of my cables, power cables, everything, I have to have like in these special protective sleeves because they just chew on them all the time. So there's no way I'd be able to keep a plant alive in my house, which is unfortunate because I would love to have a plant or two to grow. But, which makes me wonder, am I ever going to be able to have a real Christmas tree? Because growing up, we always did real Christmas trees. And I just don't know if that's going to be an option.
So we had cats that chewed on stuff a lot too. And so we ended up having to get plants that only were acceptable if an animal were to nibble on it a little bit.
Yeah. But apparently there's a ton of plants that are super poisonous to cats.
Yeah. Super poisonous. We also used to have like Jill went out and got a bunch of wheat. Like from a field, like wheat, because wheat is beautiful. And for us, I think it really symbolizes the harvest, part of the year in the upper Midwest. And so she had a bunch of wheat and then one of our cats ate some and it's all right for them to eat wheat, but they end up like throwing it up, and they would make this weird sound where they'd eat it. And then like an hour later, I'd hear what I thought was a little girl going, no, 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 no. But turned out it was.
JJ, you're going to help me pick the next number.
Okay.
Paul, John, George, or Ringo?
Ringo.
Number 60, please.
60. Okay. 60 is at the bottom of great icebreaker questions.
Ooh.
What would your dream house be like? Oh, this is a good one.
I know what the outside looks like.
Okay, tell me.
The outside, this is going to sound boring, but it's going to be white with dark brown trim and a dark brown roof. And on the inside, it's going to have vaulted ceilings and really thick, dark brown beams. And that's because I had an uncle who had a house that looked just like that when I was a kid. And I remember just going to his house. And for some reason, I was just like, I think this is gorgeous. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know if it's like I lived in a cottage in another life or something like that, but I'm really drawn to houses that are white with really dark brown trim.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is about that specifically. I couldn't really put it into words other than I was in a house once like that as a kid, and I liked it so much that I thought I'd like to have a house like that.
Are there any special amenities in this house? Like, does it have an indoor pool? Does it have a movie theater?
No indoor pool. Definitely has a movie theater. Me and my spouse, we each have our own bathroom that are attached to the master bedroom, because I think that would really help in like marital discord, or if one person's really busy in the morning or something like that.
Or for pooping.
Yeah, for pooping for sure. And like if I'm mad at her, then I'm going to go poop in her bathroom, you know? But I also would then have the ultimate bathroom, because I think the bathroom is the most important room in any home.
Agreed.
And it's kind of depressing when you've got a bathroom that's just a little too small or too cramped, because then you don't want to spend any time in there. And so I'm really probably thinking it's got to have a killer bathroom for me, and white house, dark brown trim. Okay. What do you got?
So have you ever been in Discovery Middle School?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plenty of time. Dad used to teach there.
That's what I want my house to be like.
You want it to look like Discovery Middle School?
Yeah. So Discovery Middle School has a central library that is open air to 2 stories.
Interesting.
And surrounding it are pods of 5 classrooms with like a bathroom set outside of each. And you don't walk directly into the pod. You walk into an area that's like where the lockers are. And then there's the pod with the common room in the middle. And so I thought to myself, okay, so one of those entire areas becomes a master bedroom to me. And then one of them becomes kind of like a creative space. There's also a theater. There's a gymnasium. It's got a huge parking lot for when I want to do like host big events, things like that. It's also got, I thought to me as a kid, this is what signaled that you were rich. If your driveway went by your front door and had both an entrance and an exit, whether you drove straight through and like you had alley access, or it was kind of curved, fresh Prince of Bel-Air style.
I think that actually makes a ton of sense, because I've never had a driveway like that.
Right. Well, but I mean, I guess I just put my foot in my mouth. You're poor, or you're just how do I get out of this?
Never been rich. Never been
there
rich.
You go. Shit, that would have been an easy thing to say. So, but I've never had that either, and I feel like that is the type of thing where it just seems, Ferris Bueller had one of those in the Shermer suburb that he lived in, and I always thought it was just so cool. And Discovery Middle School also has had that. Also, it incorporated a lot of windows, and I love having windows. That's very important to me.
Got to have a lot of windows. I always thought as someone who was rich would have a McDonald's in their house,
like
just
Richie
like
Rich.
Richie Rich. Yep. Which is a movie that is super underrated and needs to have a comeback at like the Fargo Theater or something if they ever do midnight movies again. I love Richie Rich.
You know, my favorite.
I always loved like the little robotic bee too.
Yeah, that Professor Keen Bean creates. You know, my favorite quote is from Richie Rich.
Huh.
Dad not found. Dad not found. Dad not found. I remember leaving the theater and like quoting that, like, Dad not found. Dad not found.
And it was around that time that the Casper movie came out, wasn't it? It was within a few years of that.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like. See, because I also loved Casper. I loved his 3 uncles, and it made me want to be a ghost.
Here's what I never understood, though, about, okay, let's break down the Casper creative choices that were made. Stinky, Stretch, and Fatso were his 3 uncles.
They would never be named that these days.
And they also, like, when Bill Pullman dies, he looks like himself. He's got glasses. He's got like a cardigan on. But these guys aren't wearing any clothes, nor is Casper. And Casper certainly doesn't look like teen heartthrob Devon Sawa, who I believe played the like live version.
My theory on that is that the more time you spend in the afterlife, though, you lose a lot of your earthly features.
Okay, so his wife, who approaches, looks just like she did when she was alive.
That's true.
You know,
but maybe that was a special moment where because these guys can transform, though, right? Because they're kind of like they're malleable. They can take different shapes.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's just more or less that like over time they get lazy with trying to keep their normal shape that's earthly, or that's what those guys looked like on Earth.
Did you ever see Casper Meets Wendy?
No.
Okay. This is actually, if you're a Casper fan, this is actually worth your time. It was a made for like video, direct to video sequel to Casper, in which Casper teams up with Wendy, the witch, played by a young Hilary Duff. And she has 3 aunts, like Terry Garr, and I think also the woman who played the bad lady in Casper. And then somebody else. So there's a trio of witches. And at one point, Stretch, Stinky, and Fatso inhabit bodies, like they essentially possess people. And I think one of them was Bulk from Power Rangers.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
And then Stretch was a guy, I think his name was something McDonald, but he was on Mad TV. He's the guy who did it like, no, as Stewart.
You're saying this was Casper Meets Wendy.
This Casper Meets Wendy. And they found 3 actors who surprisingly look like, if you died, this is what your ghost would look like.
I got to look this up.
And it's well worth your time. It's very humorous. It's very fun. And it also begs the question, like at one point they were doing mixed universes with that. Like, how come we didn't ever see a crossover between Richie Rich and Casper?
I mean, wasn't it theorized by The Simpsons that Casper is the ghost of Richie Rich?
Yeah.
Because they crossed over in the comic books all the time.
Right. Well, because whoever draws the bulbous head comics, right? Like that's all part of the same thing. Like Casper, Wendy, Richie Rich, they're all 3 part of the same comic brand, and they all had like the same designer, and he pretty much drew the same thing for all 3 of them, but one was a girl, one was a boy, and one was a ghost.
It looks like the guy who played the Fatso ghost was Travis McKenna, and it's not the guy from Power Rangers, according to IMDb.
It was.
Hey, do you consider Casper part of the Ghostbusters universe?
I do. Because you had Ray Stantz, even though technically, do you know why he has a mustache at that time?
No. Because
he was filming a movie. Dan Aykroyd is filming a movie called Exit to Eden, which was about, it's about sex, essentially. And it was going to be rated X at one point, and then it was, I believe, ended up getting an NC-17. He and Rosie O'Donnell are cops who are investigating like a murder spree, and it takes them to this resort where it's about losing your inhibitions. It was
let's make a movie about sex. Who should we have star in it? I know Dan Aykroyd and Rosie O'Donnell.
I know, it does. It's very bizarre, but he had a mustache in that movie. So when he went to film this cameo, he couldn't get rid of his mustache, and we didn't have digital shaving at that point.
I was going to say it worked so well for Justice League. I'm surprised they didn't do it for him back then too, but I guess you're right.
It's just where it's at. Give me another number.
Yet. Let's go for, you're just going to straight up 100.
Straight up 100. 100 is under awkward, weird icebreaker questions. Popcorn or M&Ms?
Oh, M&Ms.
What?
M&Ms for sure. And the thing is you're going to be really I thought you'd be conflicted on this question because you love to put M&Ms in your popcorn.
I am straight up just popcorn. First of all, I like to put Junior Mints in my popcorn.
I thought it was M&Ms.
No. I mean,
Junior
M&Ms are nice because they've got
choice.
a candy coating, so you're not going to get yourself all messy, but I will occasionally put Junior Mints in halfway through.
M&Ms makes way more sense than Junior Mints because people make popcorn balls and they put M&Ms in those.
Yeah, because you couldn't put a Junior Mint in a popcorn ball unless you were going to find a way to like saran wrap it, because it would just be open air candy at that point.
I think popcorn versus M&Ms is kind of a dumb question because I know that you didn't come up with this. I'm not, I picked the number, but I think M&Ms versus Reese's Pieces is a much more telling question.
Sure. I will tell you this, though. I think that to me, popcorn is the great equalizer amongst people. Like, it's a gatherer. So when you smell fresh popped popcorn, it's an instantly recognizable smell. and it's always a welcome smell. I've never met someone who's like, no, I just hate the smell of popcorn. No.
I get that. I'm not saying I dislike popcorn. I love popcorn, but like,
Have you ever?
am I allowed
like,
to think of this
I
as
love
peanut
the smell
M&Ms?
of M&Ms.
I know I love the taste of peanut M&Ms. I love the texture. I love the crunch of them. And the thing is that whenever I get served popcorn, I get overserved popcorn. They give people way too much popcorn. Very rarely does anyone, ever actually finish the whole bucket of popcorn. They give it to you. There's so much waste involved.
Do you like traditional, just regular M&Ms, or do you like one of the variations?
Well, peanut M&Ms is my go-to.
Okay.
But I'll eat any and all M&Ms. I haven't found an M&M that I dislike. I can put it that way. I never think to get a bag of normal M&Ms, but if I ever am gifted one or just given one, I'm super excited. I really like it.
Okay.
But it's really like they're just taking a regular chocolate bar and just cutting them up into little tiny pieces. So I go for the peanut M&Ms are more satisfying. You get a big crunch, more chocolate, at least in every bite. I like them. I like those a lot more.
Okay, let me tell you my secret to M&Ms.
Guy, though. I'm a Reese's Pieces guy, though. What's that?
This is my secret to M&Ms. So first of all, what M&M is trying to do is just essentially say we're every candy bar, but in dot form.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I take peanut butter M&Ms, and then I take the M&Ms that have the little tiny crispy Rice crispy crunchies in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Mix those together, and then pop some peanut M&Ms in there. Boom. And then they all look the same, so you just take a handful,
right?
And then you're surprised by what you're eating.
Has it ever been done where you combine regular classic M&Ms, Reese's Pieces, and Skittles?
I mean, that sounds horrific.
I mean, I that's why I'm asking. Has it ever been done? Because they are, at the outward appearance, one has an M, one has an S, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it just feels like if they're made from the same mold, you might as well try a handful of them.
These aren't made from the same mold. Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying they're similarly shaped.
Yeah, but
M&Ms and Reese's Pieces and Skittles have the same shape.
And also, the M&M colors are much more muted than the positively charged, bright coloring of Skittles.
Are you saying?
Take it from a kid who's got a nice set of man jugs. Okay?
You said that for each jug. You got so excited.
Yes.
Do you think then classic M&Ms are the protons, Reese's Pieces are the neutrons, and Skittles are the electrons? If you were to take those and make an atomic graph with them.
I think that Skittles are the space in between they are part of the atomic dust that make up atoms.
Yeah, protons and neutrons.
No, but there's space in between. That's the whole point. That's the whole thing that people argue nowadays. Is that there's space in between these things.
That's space. That's not dust.
Yeah, it's the space. It's the empty void between the building blocks of life.
Are you talking about the electron cloud?
Sure. The dusty cloud.
So they're electrons. I'm right.
No.
Skittles are electrons.
No. I think that if anything, you'd probably
find Skittles are quantum fluctuations. That's what you're saying.
You'd probably find Skittles. Actually, okay. You would find Skittles on the periodic table, but you wouldn't find them as one of the singular atoms. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense.
It's bigger than the makeup of the world, where the Reese's Pieces and the M&Ms are part of the core makeup.
What's a candy bar that if was offered to you, you would say no, thank you?
I never will take a Milky Way.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. You don't like Milky Ways
Milky Way's
at all?
like kissing your cousin. Sure, it scratches an itch, but you really don't like it. You're really thinking about a Snickers bar.
That's so fucked up. It's like, because I mean, sure, it's fun, but you don't want to tell people you did
sure,
it.
like you just you're there, and it's it's your uncle's 80th, and it just happens, but like to me the Milky Way is like, well, I want a Snickers. Like I take a bite, like I want a Snickers. You just need to go all the way and go get me a Snickers. But versus like a Rolo, I'll eat a Rolo any day because they're like, well, we'll just make up for it by putting a lot of caramel in the middle of this.
What's the one that's filled with coconut?
That's Mounds.
Yeah, Mounds I would say no to immediately.
I mean, do you ever think that there's something appetizing or attractive about the word Mounds?
No,
neither.
Not at all. I think Almond Joy is going to be up there for me too, and I love almonds, but Almond Joy, I think that's got coconut in it, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Ugh, gross. Almond Joys can go to hell.
Can I tell
Those
you?
Should not exist.
Can I preview an upcoming podcast that is a spinoff of JJ Meets World?
Yeah.
So upcoming, we're launching more of our umbrella network, and one of them is a podcast called Reviewed with Kevin Kennedy and I. And we review stuff. It might be a movie or a television show, a book. It might be the Mitchell, South Dakota Corn Palace. And one of the things we review is I've had this sneaking suspicion that there are the exact same number of almonds in a king size Hershey's with almonds as a regular size Hershey's with almonds.
No kidding.
We conducted some experiments, and I won't tell you how it ends, but I've recently been into Hershey's with almonds lately. I love a Hershey. To me, a Hershey's bar is very simple and very delicious and amazing. The milk chocolate that they do there, and then the whole story of Milton Hershey is just amazing as well too. But the problem with the Hershey's with almonds is because the almond is in there and the chocolate doesn't really cling to the almond, it makes it an unstable candy bar.
Okay.
So you may get more than you bargain for.
Got
when
it.
you bite into it. Give me another number.
Let's go for good old 187.
187. Icebreaker questions for kids.
Ooh.
What is your favorite color?
Green.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because we're both Scottish?
Maybe. Like I think that to me, green has one of the most expressive palettes.
Yeah, I agree with that one wholeheartedly. I became a green fanatic because that's what the Ninja Turtles were.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just stuck because of my heritage, and it just works. It's never not pleasing to the eye.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love money.
Sure. Yeah. American money, because most other money isn't green. In fact, the vast majority of all money on this planet is not green.
Isn't it weird that we are red, white, and blue, but we didn't think about incorporating that into our money?
That's true. Or that we didn't put green in our flag because we might as well at this point.
Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe that's the next step.
Your voice just like suddenly went all the way away.
Oh, like this?
Oh, now it's back. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just contemplating America. Give me another number.
50. 50 stars.
50. I'm 50. What is your favorite item you've purchased this year?
Ooh. Well, I'm going to say it right now. My Subaru Forester.
Oh, and that's a new purchase?
That is a very, very new purchase.
So now that you are a member of the Subaru cult,
yes,
you're never going back.
Well, I mean, I haven't had the breadth of experience that other members of the Subaru cult have had. But if it delivers on all of the promises of the Subaru cult, then yes, I will be buying Subarus until I can afford like a Tesla or something someday.
Even that, I feel like at one point Subaru will make their all electric vehicle, and you're like, I'll just stick with this because I like what I have.
I mean, yeah, as long, I want to know what the secret sauce is. Like, what is it about their engineering that makes these seem to just last for as long as they do?
Well, if I can be so bold,
please.
I don't think it's just the engineering. I think they make high quality vehicles. They've been a leader when it comes to safety, which is something I think we all care about. But I also think that their service is unparalleled.
Okay.
And
do you drive a Subaru?
What was that?
Do you drive a Subaru?
I do not. In fact, I was going to go for a Subaru for my last car, but when I went to the dealership, the specific model and everything I wanted, they were like, yeah, it's going to be like 4 months until we can get that in stock.
Okay.
And I said, oh, that doesn't work because my car is like about to die.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I ended up getting a Honda, and I've been very happy with my Honda, but I do wonder sometimes, like I look out the window and I see, a Subaru Crosstrek driving by and think to myself, it could have been me.
Yeah, we're a Subaru family now. My dad's got a Subaru Forester. I've got a Subaru Forester. My sister's got a Subaru Forester.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? In all different colors.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I like the sound of that.
Apparently, Subaru owners are dog owners as well, like by and large. And I don't have a dog yet.
Let me think of the thing that I purchased. Oh, you know what? I got a new wallet this year.
What was so special about the wallet that you love so much?
So here's the thing. I've never been a trifold guy. I've been a bifold, a billfold.
Right. Okay.
As my dad would say, don't forget your William fold. Which is a joke that you'll appreciate coming from a family with Bill in the name.
I mean, yeah, I am Bill technically. Yeah. I have a no fold. It's just there's no.
So you have a money clip?
No, it just doesn't open up, but it's got pockets.
So what I got was, because I saw like they make the money clip that holds like the credit cards on the outside, right? And I was I like that, but I also like to have just a little bit of privacy. So this billfold I bought, and I looked at a lot of them online, and I went to some stores, and I kind of like, oh, could I do this? So this has a money clip on the inside and a couple credit card holders in the inside and ID holders. And then on the outside, it also has a credit card holder that's mostly obscured through fabric, but I can use my thumb to pop it out from the bottom.
Okay.
So I don't always have to open my wallet when I'm going to get it. And listen, I got the wallet because my wife, who I love a lot, but washed my wallet and it had a sticker on the front and ruined it.
Oh, no.
Completely ruined it.
When I was a kid, I had this really bitchin' Dick Tracy wallet that I loved a lot. And I forgot it somewhere. Like I just left it somewhere. Now, luckily, I was a kid, so I had no money. I just was carrying this wallet around in the hopes that one day I'd have $1 to put in it. But it was awesome. It had the Dick Tracy logo on it, and it was yellow. Ooh. And I feel like the next time I get a wallet, I'm going to go and get myself something that's maybe like a Ninja Turtles wallet or something like that, versus this boring adult wallet that I've got.
You want something that's got like a little panache to it? I
think so. Something's that's got some personality that speaks to me, but we'll see. It's got to be the right one. My wallet is kind of falling apart here a little bit, but I went for something that wasn't a fold because I wanted it to be as slim as possible. I don't carry cash, and I just carry, like my ID and a couple cards, and I need a place to put receipts temporarily. That's about, my insurance card, AAA card, things like that. But I don't carry I don't have like a George Costanza wallet. Do you keep your wallet in your butt pocket or in your front pocket?
I'm a front pocket guy.
Good for you. That's what I do too. I used to be a back pocket guy and then realized it was causing back issues.
See, I never got back issues. I have always just carried it in my front pocket, and it's caused me a couple of times of strife because I think people have been like, oh, has he got a pack of cigarettes in there? So like when I walk into a high school, I always pull up my wallet and be like, it's just a wallet. It's just a wallet.
Everyone knows that people keep cigarettes in the sleeve of their t-shirt.
Right. If they're cool. Also, here's the problem that I had. This will be kind of telling about who I was as a kid. I couldn't have a wallet that was too big or too heavy because it would weigh down my sweatpants. And the worst thing is the only thing that could be worse than being a chubby kid wearing sweatpants is a chubby kid wearing sweatpants and his butt crack is showing only on one side because his wallet's so heavy from carrying around his Mark McGuire rookie card and whatnot.
I feel that pain whenever I feel like it's a gym shorts day, but it's not my wallet, it's my cell phone, because the cell phone is the heaviest thing that I carry.
Well, busy, but also big and busy now. But the other thing that bothers, actually the wallet is like the least of my worries of stuff that's in my pocket. It's really my keys,
because I try to keep as few keys on me as possible as well, but they still just jut out in all different directions and they poke you in the leg, poke me in the leg. And then I got to make sure I don't put my keys in the same pocket that's got my cell phone, because even with the screen protector on, I want that thing to last. And so I'm trying to not let my keys scratch up my screen protector. So therefore my keys and my wallet have to go in one pocket, cell phone in the other. It kind of balances out most of the time. So now I feel like, God, I kind of wish I had 3 pockets, but where would that third pocket go? I'm not using a butt pocket for anything. Doesn't make sense. I want nothing between my butt and whatever seat I'm sitting on except my underoos and my pants.
Okay. I feel you were very passionate about that.
I have a lot to say about this.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Also, after a brief Googling, I can't find that wallet that you had. I wonder if you're maybe remembering it incorrectly, because I can find a lot of Dick Tracy wallets that are like red or black, but none that are yellow.
This was back when I would have been in the, if not the single digits, then I was maybe 10 or 11.
Okay.
So this, I'm gonna Google this now too and see if I can find anything. But right now,
you found a lunchbox. Did you accidentally call your lunchbox your wallet?
I am positive this was a wallet, and it had Velcro. It would Velcro shut.
See, a lot of these look like they are Velcro based, but none of them really seem to show. So
there's a fanny pack. There, I'll find it. We'll figure this out. I know my next number.
Okay, what's your next number?
I am 36 years old, so let's go with 36.
What did you name your first car?
Oh, the Mystery Machine. I had a 1975 Ford Econoline conversion van, and I thought, close enough. And so I tried to paint it to look like the Mystery Machine. Ended up not even finishing painting it before the whole thing just died on me. But we also had a different name for it, because before I painted it, it was blue. And at Trollwood, when I was taking Greg Carlson's video production class, we used it as like a set a couple of times, and we called it the Blue Governor. And so before it was the Mystery Machine, it was the Blue Governor.
I like that. I can get behind that big time. My first car's name was Gladys.
How did Gladys come about?
I thought a woman's name, but I also thought like I want to give her like a woman's name of like a woman that I'd be very intimidated by. So I wanted like a librarian-esque name, because I wanted to make sure to respect the car.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I guess so.
Well, yeah, like I think, to me, I took driving very seriously, and I didn't want to treat it like something like I was just going to be like, oh, let's go, drive around in the X500, something like that. Now, I have subsequently not named any of my vehicles. I did at one point get a customized license plate that said JJ2000.
Okay.
And when you get a custom license plate, they ask you, well, you have to tell me what it means. And I'm like, it doesn't mean anything. It just is, JJ2000. They're like, we can't do this. It literally has to mean something. And so my buddy Phil Lund was there, and he goes, just tell him it's the JJ of the new millennium. So I said, it's the JJ of the new millennium. And so there was a file somewhere in a government office that said that it was the JJ of the new millennium.
I got to tell you, I'm getting really upset with this whole Dick Tracy wallet thing right now. It's actually making me feel bad, because I know I had a yellow one. I know I did. And there's no reason they wouldn't make a yellow one. No reason at all. But so far, yeah, I'm just seeing red and blue. It's that same make and model, but I had it in yellow. I swear to Christ.
Okay. I mean, I'll keep looking. Will
you?
Yeah, I will. I will continue to seek it out.
I found one in black.
Yeah, and there's a blue one on there too if you go way down like on like one of the eBay listings.
Maybe it's because people with the yellow Dick Tracy wallet just kept better care of theirs. And God damn it, I wonder if it's like such a collector's item that had I held on to it, I could have just paid for my nephew's college or something.
Okay, hold on. Dick Tracy wallet yellow.
This is upsetting me. I don't like this.
Nope. I mean, you could get that, but you could get Madonna. I see the Dick Tracy movie logo. Clearly, you got this because it was in tandem with the Dick Tracy movie, right?
Yeah. It would have been a promotional item for that. I even remember seeing at like the video rental shop the Dick Tracy Nintendo game. I'd never played it. I think I played it as an adult and was like, God, this thing sucks. But at the time I don't know what it was about Dick Tracy, but I was getting really, really into him as a kid.
Even if
And yeah,
you
when
go back in time, Tucker, to like the Dick Tracy fan club from the 50s, they didn't have a yellow wallet.
I had a yellow Dick Tracy wallet. I swear to God.
Okay.
It exists.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll have to look. Here's one in bright red, but I don't see any in yellow. And it would.
What sense does it make to not make one that's yellow, JJ? That's the Dick Tracy color.
I'll tell you why. Because so much of his iconic look in the hat and the trench coat is yellow that it would be yellow on top of yellow.
No,
like
there's
the
still
black
a
makes
crisp
it
enough
pop.
outline. There's still a crisp enough outline. They made fanny packs in yellow. I just found a fanny pack in yellow. You tell me they're not going to make it's the same
They're not
material.
going to make a wallet. They're not going to make a wallet that goes along with that. Maybe you had the Madonna one. Maybe you had the Breathless Malone. And you don't remember, and you're like, "Oh, it's Dick." Yeah, look, this is Dick Tracy, and he's like, "No, that's Madonna," and you're like, "No, this is Dick Tracy."
I cannot even imagine what that conversation at the marketing firm was like. Well, Dick Tracy is really known for his yellow, and we're making everything else yellow. Let's make sure to make these wallets yellow. And like, no, hold back on that. Just blue, black, and red for the Dick Tracy wallets. No yellow. That makes zero sense.
That makes as much sense about like of that movie. Like, wait, hold on. Like, let me just dial this back. You know that movie became like a huge flop, right?
Right, but they were making the wallets before they knew the movie was going to
but they clearly, like, even during the making of the movie, when they were talking about merchandise, they're like, we'll do this and we'll do this and people will love this and we'll do this. Everything with that movie was a misstep. Now, that being said, I love that movie and I still like hold it true to my heart. You know, Stephen Sondheim wrote some of those songs and like it's a musical disguised as a noir like radio drama and I loved it. But, you know, like, I think that maybe okay, let me ask you this. Is it possible you could have gotten this wallet from McDonald's?
I don't remember. I think I was just given it by my dad.
Okay, so your dad was at a McDonald's and he's like, oh, I forgot it's my son's birthday.
That was what he did when I was born.
What?
He
forgot you were born?
No, when I was born, my dad was like, I got to get Tucker a toy or Billy a toy, because they were calling me Bill. They didn't call me Tucker yet. And he went to McDonald's that was having like like they were doing something with these stuffed bunny rabbits. And he got a blue stuffed bunny rabbit. And that was my first toy. And I've got it still somewhere in storage. You know what I think with the wallet situation is I think people love their yellow Dick Tracy wallets so much that they're not listing them for sale on
why
eBay.
am I not finding fan sites devoted to the yellow wallet? I love where you're going with your attitude, but if people love them so much, there would at least be a fan site for it.
Well, but wouldn't there be just a fan site for Dick Tracy wallets in general?
No, because clearly there are people who want to sell their other Dick Tracy memorabilia all over the place. But this elusive yellow Dick Tracy wallet.
Elusive because you can't find one.
That is literally
Google
the definition of elusive.
Because you can't find it in
I cannot find it anywhere. That is the definition.
There's got to be, because it was a Walt Disney film. So it's got to be like
technically it's Touchstone.
Well, according to Mary 5145's posting for her red wallet, the Dick Tracy wallet, the movie from 1990's Walt Disney Company Dick Tracy movie character wallet, that's what this says. And it's got fold over Velcro closed. So this is the same wallet, but I had it in yellow.
And you're positive it was yellow?
JJ, if they made a fucking green, like a Hulk wallet, do you think it wouldn't be green?
It could be red. There's the Red Hulk.
I'm not saying it wouldn't make a red one. Do you think they would not make a green one?
I'm saying that if we're talking about 1990 Disney properties with Jeffrey Katzenberg there definitely is not a green Hulk wallet.
What?
There is.
You're kidding me.
There's not. They're like, listen, green. We don't want to be associated with the Ninja Turtles. We're gonna do a friggin' albino alligator skin and say it's the Abomination wallet. Hide your
Hulk was
money in
green
Abomination's gut.
Decades before the turtles were green.
What?
The Hulk was green decades before
Right,
the
and I'm
turtles
talking
were green.
about 1990. If in 1990 Disney owned Marvel at the time, they would be making the same blunders with Marvel that they did with Dick Tracy and Warren Beatty.
You think
Here's the
Nintendo's
thing.
going to make
You know what
a
we could do?
Mario wallet and it's not red?
You know what we could do? The kid in Dick Tracy is from Fargo originally, Charlie Korsmo. Let's see if we can find him. I think he teaches at like MIT now. Let's see if we can get him to just get on this podcast and we'll say, listen, do you remember in all the promotional materials that surrounded the Dick Tracy release? And if he does, great. If he doesn't, it's going to be tough. If you have
so
one of these
mad right
wallets,
now.
I intended on getting through like 9 more questions, but clearly, see, this is why you're like, oh, those icebreakers are bullshit. Look at where we found ourselves in our friendship now.
At each other's throats,
Yes.
because you think I'm making something up that was a really important part of my childhood.
Yeah, I'm just saying maybe you're misremembering it.
I'm not misremembering it. I had a yellow Dick Tracy wallet. It was bitchin'. I loved it so much. I miss it. And it existed, and it exists now.
You know what's funny about
JJ.
Dick Tracy is it literally foretold the Apple Watch.
That's true. And actually, it was because of Dick Tracy, even though it foretold the Apple Watch, but the Apple Watch, does that have FaceTime yet?
I don't know, but they
I don't
had
think
they
it-
had a FaceTime component.
Right, but that's the thing. Like, I don't think, if I remember correctly, Apple watches in general don't have FaceTime
No,
yet.
not yet.
But the moment they do, I'm getting one.
Really?
That's the moment that I get one. Yeah, that's the moment I get one because of Dick Tracy. Because I remember seeing that as a kid thinking, oh, that's fantastic. I can't wait till we have those. I bet they'll be anytime soon now. You remember how long it took for, like, I remember thinking all the time, when are we going to get like really cool phones where you can see someone?
Yeah.
It took forever.
We were all waiting. Like, we were waiting for like real technology to catch up with the technology that we had come to love in like things like sci-fi movies and Star Trek. And when we finally got them, it turns out that people just, eat at an Outback Steakhouse and put like a fucking FaceTime going on in the background that annoys everyone else in the restaurant. And I was like, she's not even here. Why are you having her watch you eat steak? Which literally happened to me on Friday.
I will not rest until I find a yellow Dick Tracy wallet. I swear to God.
Well, that's a good place to end this episode. If you happen to have a yellow Dick Tracy wallet, don't tell us.
No,
Tucker
tell
find
us.
it.
Let us know. Let us know. Let JJ know that his assumptions about my childhood are wrong.
I'm just saying, maybe you're mistaken.
I'm not mistaken. I'm always right, and I'm right about this.
You're 100%. You're 100%. That's why I love you so much. Okay. I'll just throw a couple of these other questions out there that that people can answer and, play on your own from home. What was your least favorite food as a child? Do you still love it or hate it now? What would the title of your autobiography be? You can have anyone fictional as your imaginary. Oh, we did that. As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? What's your best scar story? Let's just save that for a whole episode.
Yeah.
If you could live in any country, where would it be? Would you rather be able to run at 100 miles per hour or fly at 10 miles per hour? What are you most excited about this year? What is one thing we would never guess about you? If you had $1 million, what would you buy first? What's your favorite Christmas carol? That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. There's no way that wallet exists.